Do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure Tonight. Happy Friday, December 27th, 2024. As we round out the end of 2024, there's still things to talk about, and can't wait to see what's going to be coming up in the year ahead, my friends. It should be a barn buster. On that note, let me go ahead and jump in the audience and, jump into the studio and see where our audience is today. On that note, let me strike up the drums. And Sarah's a little bit late today. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Not usually, but yeah, I saw some people complaining. I'm sorry. The broadcast was 8 minutes late today, but I'd be happy to refund your admission. Oh, look at that. FreezerMan71 just sent us a super chat. Thank you very much, FreezerMan. Before I get to it, let me go ahead and find the list to bring up our list of participants to find out who's been naughty or nice. On that note, let's see who was out there. Well, we've got Ann Joanne is there. Good to see Ann Joanne. Aburax is there along with Alex Lewis. We have Amanda Dodson, Amiga Rules, and Marie's here along with Anton Ghost. Would you look at that? We have Azrael here along with Blazing Thug. Not Brazen Thug, but Blazing Thug. We have Blitz Necro is here. Brian Thomas along with Craig Smith, Cypher 75 DT, Debbie Carroll, Defensive Truth, Douglas E. Golf is also here. How about that? We got Ed Zachary Electronica, Ezekiel Peters. Good to see Ezekiel. Fireflies here along with as the names jump around as I'm trying to read them. Frank Cathel, good to see you, Frank. We've got FreezerMan71, who just gave us a super chat. Thank you so much, FreezerMan. I appreciate that. We've got Giant Arc Sephora. Ginger's here, along with Gray Jedi. We've got Health and Business. Jack Gingers is around, along with Jake Knott from State Farm. We've got Jason Art X, along with Johnny UFO. Good to see you, Johnny. We've got Cara Pereiro, Kathy, and Kelly Bro, and those piercing blue eyes. Good to see you, Kelly. We've got Kilroy 676, along with King of the Blumpkins. No, I won't go there yet. I'll get in trouble. People unsubscribe if I say who that could be. But you know what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. He's on vacation right now again. Okay. Lindsay is here along with Lon. We got Marty Kin. Michael Dymock popped in along with Mick, Mighty Cheops. Well, would you look at that? We've got Mike Lipman, Mike Morrison. Mohammed is around, along with Mr. Mac, Mr. M. Spin. We've got Nicholas Urick, Niles Guy, NVME Forever First. How about that? Omar is here, along with Paladin, Pamela, Paul Damon, Paul Johnson. Good to see Rachel Osborne here, as usual, and present. Raul's around, along with Rainstorm Hunter. We got Reconnected, Ricardo's here. I'm not going to get into that one. Roland Gibbs is around along with Romulo. You got Sander Jutt. Save My Republic is here. Yeah, I think we've saved it, my friend. Scott Markey is here. Sean Rader. Shinobi 1 Kenobi. Then we've got Sprites Gemstone Crystal Mineral Magic. I actually screwed it up that time. I told you I was a little bit out of it. Stacy Coles here along with Stephen Forbes. We got Steve Hines, Super Unknown, the Chromosome Cowboy. Well, if you look at that, we've got the Rich Andreas Unexplained, the Moped Universe, the Mind of Martin. Good to see you, Martin. Tajah is here. Tajah for everybody. Tom's here along with Trent Allgood, True 79, Twin Case Land Cruiser, Vincent Parlant, Viper Tech is here along with YQuest 101, Wildcat Mahone, Will Underwood, Dead Fish Cheese Spread is not last because we've got F5 Twister and Party of One. But friends, it's not just about our friends in the chat. Sometimes it's about our friends in the back. On that note, let's go ahead and welcome our friends in the back chat today. Remember, if you have something to say, have a comment, want to join the conversation, just follow that link at the top of the chat in the Google Chrome browser. I heard others may work, but not quite as well, but we'll be happy to have you around. Most of you. Oh, what an Armageddon, Mike. What an Armageddon. On that note, let's go ahead and welcome and let's see who's in the back. All right, our first friend comes to us from all the way from Bristol, United Kingdom. You may know him as the Tommy Tanker in the chat, but here he's known as Andy W. How's it going, Andy?
Hey, Thomas. Yeah, going really well. Great Christmas. I'm easing off my sugar rush that I had over it, but yeah, all good.
Excellent. Wonderful to have you around here, my friend. Also in the back, we've got, a man coming from the country, from the city that never sleeps, all the way from Bangkok, Thailand. Let's welcome in Corporal Abe. How's it going, Abe?
Hey, happy holidays, Thomas and crew. Excited for a new year, excited for a new administration, some new drones and some new UFOs.
Yeah, you better believe it. Can't wait to see where it's going to go. Some interesting headlines. They're all political, but you know what? A lot of people don't like political stuff, but UFOs are extremely political, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. It's all the same thing, you know.
Yeah, same shit, different day.
Different day, but
all right, coming to us from his recliner that I am so jealous of, let's welcome in our next friend, Ed Brown. How's it going, Ed?
Great to be with you, Thomas, and happy holidays to everybody listening tonight. Looking forward to a really great show.
Yeah, I'll say it. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everybody. But wait, I said it. Well, thanks for coming in, Ed. I usually save that for Laura. She is back, so thanks for coming in today, Ed. It's wonderful to have you here. All right. Also looking in her back, would you look at that? We have got a man coming from the country that could become the 51st state of the United States, and the people would lose, their taxes would be reduced by 60%. Let's welcome in Freezerman 71.
Hello, Thomas. Great to see all you guys.
Great to have you here as well, my friend. Thank you for coming in today. It's always a wonderful time to see your smiling face.
Thanks, Thomas.
Yes. Awesome. You're welcome. And also next coming in, our remote viewer targeter coming from the upper part of Wisconsin. Let's welcome in our dear friend, Laura Campbell. How's it going, Laura?
It's going great, Thomas. Had a really relaxing holiday season, and I hope it continues to be that way for everyone.
Yeah. Did you get a new hair straightener?
No, it's called just lazy hair, holiday hair.
Oh, there you go.
Friday.
It's perfect on you. Thank you very much for stopping in today. Great to have you around. Also, let's welcome in our next friend, Mr. Mark Kyle. How's it going, Mark?
Yeah, good, Thomas. How are you? Hope everyone's fine.
Oh, I'm holding up pretty good so far. We'll see how the show goes. But yeah, a little laggy today. Not sure why, but we'll get there. At least it's nice and sunny and clear and clouds in the sky, and got a great accent there, Mark. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, mate. I'm up at my farm for about a week or so, so I'm in relaxed mode and out chasing UFOs. Actually, I got a couple last night.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Love to see them sometime. All right.
Yeah, I made a short video.
Awesome. Thank you. Also in the back, we have our next man, also coming from the country that could be the 51st state, but yet again, it is the country where all the U's are silent. Let's welcome in our dear friend, Mr. Mike Sokoloff. How's it going, Mike?
It's going good, Thomas. Just so Trump knows, there's 11 provinces and 2 territories, and they all have to decide whether they're going to join or not.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just joking around that, my friend. You got to have a good one.
That's like saying United States is going to be the 12th province of Canada.
Well, maybe we would actually have, 12 additional, 11, 13 additional states. That wouldn't be bad.
No, yeah, that would be pretty good, but I don't think Canadians are going to go for it.
Oh, heck no. I'm just joking around, my friend. Thank you for coming in. Coming to our next guest, he's becoming a regular in the back, and I'm glad that he's here. Let's welcome in Mohammed Kasem. How's it going, Mohammed?
Hey, Thomas. Just so you know, I'm from Canada too.
Oh, that's okay.
You said you're feeling under the weather today. I just want to take the time to tell you that Thomas, you are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, sir.
For streaming every night, giving us news. Me personally, I don't know about your viewers, but me personally, I'm subscribed. I do a thumbs up to the video, and I just put a random comment, even to say F you, whatever, just for the algorithms, you know. And that's what I do. That's it.
Thank you,
You're
sir.
doing a great job, Thomas, and thank you for this.
I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for coming here, and thank you for the kind words. It's greatly appreciated. All right, our next friend comes to us from, well, the country. If you turn the world upside down and shake it like a snow globe, who pops out of Australia? It's Susan Ford. How's it going, Susan?
That gets me every time you say that. I'm feeling good, Thomas. I'm sad to hear that you're not feeling so good, but hopefully you chipper up before the end of the show and you feel a lot better.
I've got a Red Bull and Kettle One, so it's kind of picking me up and kicking me in the ass at the same time, so it's kind of fading into the distance.
Cool.
Definitely not a hangover, but just feeling kind of weird. That's all I could say. Something's off. You never know.
Okay, well, hopefully you feel a bit better.
Yeah, I definitely hope so as well. Thank you again for coming in today, Nani. And remember, all of our friends in the back, when you have something to say, just raise your hand and we'll butt in and let's talk about it. All right, who do we have next back there? Well, if you look off to the East Coast, we have our dear friend that you never want to be on the wrong side with. Let's welcome in Tia Maria. How's it going, Tia?
Hey, Thomas. How are you? I missed you on Christmas, so Merry Christmas.
Oh, well, that's okay. We were here on Christmas, just not yesterday.
What did Mocha get for Christmas?
Cookies.
Cookies
and
good.
roast beef. All the dogs
More
had a
cookies.
nice dinner of roast beef for Christmas
Good.
Eve or Christmas Day.
Awesome. I had to ask about her because I love her.
Thank you very much. She's upstairs right now, somewhere running around, but thank you for coming in.
Oh.
And our last person to get in the back, let's go ahead and welcome TVT. How's it going, TVT?
Hey, Thomas. Yeah, I kind of got a headache tonight too, man, but the only prescription is more cowbell. So
Yeah, you know what I think it could be too? Dehydration, maybe. That's what I could be feeling. You never know.
Cowbell.
Yeah.
Have a good show tonight.
Thank you very
All right,
much. And as we turn our sights to New York, we were bringing in our own Officer Stadenko from the Narcotics Squadron. No. It's our very own Mike. Disclosure. How's it going, Mike?
Oh, Thomas, it's going well. I think we're going to have an interesting Friday night show for our audience and a lot to talk about. It should be good. We'll have fun.
Just a reminder to everybody, this is not just Friday or Friday night disclosure. For all those who don't know where we're at, this is what we call, oh gosh, fuck you Friday.
Yes, sir.
What can go wrong has gone wrong, and hopefully it's all settled off
Murphy's
by
Law.
now.
In full effect. Yeah, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I agree. It's one of those days. We'll get through it. We'll have fun.
Oh,
as always.
You better believe it, my friend. You better believe it. On that note, yeah, we've got some interesting headlines going on in the studio today. Yes, our first one is, where is it at? We bring it up. Oh, there we go. New Jersey drone shapes. Classified. What the heck are we talking about? Yeah, believe it or not, in the last briefing to the members of the House of Representatives, Nancy Mace, if you remember her, she's part of the UAP caucus and someone who chaired the last UFO hearing that we had and is pushing Donald J. Trump for disclosure. She came out and said, well, 2 of these shapes remain classified. What do you mean, 2 of the shapes? Oh, the morphology, the overall stuff. So there were a lot of things that people saw, but there were 2 of them that are classified and can't be talked about. One thing they can do is say we can't talk about them. What they can't do is they can't prevent us from talking about them. And I've got a great shot that's been put together by someone on Twitter that shows all of the a bunch of the different shapes, and these are probably the 2 shapes that our government doesn't want you talking about. On that note, let's go ahead and get to this first video clip here and have a good time with it. I think it's almost close enough. Shrink it down a little bit. All right, here we go, folks.
Oh, well, I think everything's on the table. I mean, I've been in some briefings where specifically about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were in a skiff in a classified setting, and I can't share what shapes these are. But there are actually 2 specific shapes that have been, there's footage and photographs of them in the skies that the federal government, the U.S. federal government cannot identify and don't know what they are. So I think that all options are on the table. With regard to the drones, I think it's very clear it's the U.S. government. I think it's very clear the U.S. government is lying to the American people and to Congress because we don't really know what's going on. I do believe that at least Congress has the right to know so we can pacify some of the safety concerns and fears that people have all along the eastern seaboard.
All right. So on that, I've got a shot here that came to us from Twitter. Maybe sure that's big enough for everyone to go ahead and see. This is what she's talking about. There are 2 shapes that, if you want to call it, members of Congress are not allowed to talk about. Now, one of the ones I want to point out here that's kind of important is you've got this one here in the upper left-hand corner. These are the ones that don't comply with FAA regulations, meaning they had a green light on one side. Sometimes it would be a red light on the other, but then it would go ahead and blink and it would go away. The most important thing, if I bring this up full and show it with the mouse here going on, the one thing that's missing here, Mike, is we're missing any kind of a light on the tail light of the craft. I mean, on the tail of the craft. That's one thing that's clearly missing. That's a requirement of the FAA. So we've got that one, but then we also have the ones that look more like a, was it a 707? The McDonnell Douglas? No, I'm sorry, the McDonnell Douglas MD-80. Remember those planes, Mike?
I do. I remember them very well. But
they had
we also pointed out
2 engines on the back.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw some of these in a video yesterday where something that looked like this was very, very close to the ground.
Yes.
Within 200 or 300 feet of the ground, and there was no the noise was coming from it was sounded like something from a propeller based, not necessarily something that was coming from a jet engine based craft.
Right. And we also made a connection, if you remember on previous shows, to that Navy drone that was able to detect radiological material. Right. And as soon as we made that connection, it seems like one of the shapes that have been classified have to do with government drones. They don't want the public or the Congress to talk about it.
Right.
That's odd. Very suspicious.
Those were the Terradynamics XP-4. They have an XP-4. They have an which is publicly announced. They also have an XP or an X-P5 and X-P7, which are still completely confidential. They've been developed for the U.S. Navy of all parts of the government, which would make it very convenient for launching these craft and bringing them back. Now, some people could say, yes, these things look exactly like airplanes, but you have to look at the FAA requirements to say if this was a plane, Mike, or a jet engine for that matter, because you can see there's a propeller there, potentially an engine, but there's no light on the tail, and that light on the tail is absolutely 100% required.
Unless it's a government drone, then it's not required.
Right. And we did bring up the video of this one here on the bottom, Mike, and people had said, oh, no, that's just a regular commercial airliner. But when does a commercial airliner fly around at 300 or 400 feet really close to people's homes in New Jersey?
They don't. Even when landing at Newark International Airport, they're not that low.
And if these were EVTOLs, EVOLTs, whatever you want to call them, the thing I have to call out on that, these craft would then be showing up on systems along the lines like, along the lines of Flight Radar 24, but they weren't showing up on Flight Radar 24. Also, EVTOLs do not have the ability to stay in flight for 6+ hours of flight time. So we're looking at some of these things. It's very interesting to say the least. Now, the other interesting thing that was about the behavior on some of these craft is when they were actually going ahead and flying around, when they would have the green light that would be there, when it would go to flash white, the actual green light itself would disappear. Now, if you look at any commercial airliner and understand what are the requirements coming to us by the FAA, that green light and red light needs to be on at all times. And clearly that wasn't going on with these. So yes, it's a bit perplexing, as Crow John says it out in the chat, of, we're kind of looking at this and just trying to figure out what was in the sky, but at least we just heard that Nancy Mace heard in her classified briefing that 2 of the shapes out of all the things that have been seen in the sky do remain classified at this point in time, which is crazy. How can they take a shape of something and keep it classified? Oh, it would be classified because, it's our craft, Mike.
Oh, absolutely, Thomas. And plus, let me remind our audience that it has been identified that these drones over New Jersey have been exhibiting new types of technology that are not publicly known, like no heat signature, the inability to track, no specific signals which normally would be associated with these drones, nothing. So these are something that are not known publicly. Right. And the government wants to keep it that way. They don't want any information coming out.
It seems to be that way. It's the usual, if you want to call it, season for cover-up. But wait, you remember the Stephen Greer's Project Bluebeam, right?
Yeah, blue balls. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, blue balls. Yes, blue balls. Yet on that one. Well, there is a video, and not a video. Someone put an image out there saying, "Oh my gosh, what we're dealing here with, Mike. It's not just a craft that looks like a plane. It is an orb projecting an image." Wouldn't that be Project Bluebeam?
Sounds a lot like it.
But
I agree.
Highly not likely.
No.
We're not projecting holograms into the sky for people to go ahead and think it's something else. Just saying.
Correct. It's definitely not. No evidence or data to support that at all.
I would hope.
Yeah, well, there isn't any.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, before we get into the next, let's deal with our next headline first, because I know that's why a lot of people are coming here. I don't want to go ahead and be one of those clickbait shows that goes ahead and never brings up the things that we were going to talk about. Let me just the
phenomenon of
quiet Biden. Let me go ahead and download this one here really quick and bring it up. All right, this is 1:41. This is Biden talking about possibly disclosure. He kind of is. This is right shortly after he came into office, I believe. This is actually in February 2023, after we had all those sightings that happened in the shootdowns we had in Dead Horse, Alaska, and the Yukon in Canada, and it was also in the last one over Lake Huron. Now, let's see what Biden had to say at that time with regards to declassifying information potentially or addressing the subject of UFOs. Let's see what he says.
When I came into office, I instructed our intelligence community to take a broad look at the phenomenon of unidentified aerial objects. We know that a range of entities, including countries, companies, and research organizations, operate objects at altitudes for purposes that are not nefarious, including legitimate scientific research. I want to be clear. We don't have any evidence that there has been a sudden increase in the number of objects in the sky. We're now just seeing more of them, partially because the steps we've taken to increase our radars, to narrow our radars. And we have to keep adapting our approach to dealing with these challenges. That's why I've directed my team to come back to me with sharper rules for how we will deal with these unidentified objects moving forward, distinguishing between those that are likely to pose safety and security risks that necessitate action and those that do not.
Mike, I don't believe we have gotten any new rules, have we?
Not a damn thing, Thomas.
No.
He's just blowing smoke.
Yeah.
None of that is accurate.
I thought so, my friend. Let me get back to
this. No, you're right. Yeah, let's go back to the video.
Yeah. I'll just hit play.
But make no mistake, if any object presents a threat to the safety and security of the American people, I will take it down. I'll be sharing with Congress these classified policy parameters when they're completed, and they'll remain classified so we don't give our roadmap to our enemies to try to evade our defenses. Going forward, these parameters will guide what actions we'll take while responding to unmanned and unidentified aerial objects. We're going to keep adapting them as the challenges evolve, if it evolves. In addition, I've directed my national security advisor to lead a government-wide effort to make sure we are positioned to deal safely and effectively with the objects in our airspace.
So I believe, yeah, Mike, this definitely was the press conference that happened after all of the whole drone mania had gone, not just drone mania, the whole shoot down that had taken place in February of 2023. It's interesting to say the least. Before we move on, Andy W., you have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, it just struck me that Joe Biden said we'll be in a position to bring whatever these are down. How many have they brought down at the moment? Oh, hang on, none.
Well, wait. We do have to go ahead and give credit to Department of Homeland Security, who basically said they had 45,000 known drone incursions over our borders, north and south, east and west for that matter, in the last year. And out of those 45,000 incursions, they've only been able to bring down 60.
Sounds like my government needs to get on to them with this Dragonfire and the other systems that we've just produced.
Yeah, but that was probably handled by BAE, which is a British homegrown company, and I'm sure if they're offering it from their coffers to the United Kingdom, they may be saying, "Hey, United States, you want to kick in and pay twice as much?"
Yeah.
Seems to be the way. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Andy. Now, getting into, the topic of Biden urge to release the UFO docs. That's right, friends. You heard it here first. No, we've been saying this for a while. Every single time we go ahead and say there's a great chance Trump is going to be able to bring out disclosure, I see it erupting in the chat in front of me on a regular basis, going out there and saying that, wait a minute, no, it's not going to happen. And there's a whole bunch of just negativity that comes out of it. So I've been saying in follow-up, well, this is a great opportunity for the current president of the United States, although he's getting set to go out of office, bring out the truth. You got nothing to worry about. This is part of your legacy. Make the truth come out, right? Yeah. So on that note, Daniel, you have your hand up before we move on. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing? First time, and I'm from Massachusetts.
Nice.
And I have a comment on the whole president thing. What would make a president scared? And I think it's nuclear weapons. I think the big secret that they're keeping is that there's no nuclear weapons anymore. There's a possibility that they can't.
We've got them.
No. I know, but what's the chance of us not be able to use them? If that's wouldn't that be like the biggest secret ever kept?
Well, it could be.
And wouldn't that scare a president to not divulging it? You have little green guys running around. No big
gray
deal.
guys. I think green ones are more like Kazoo from.
Yeah, but I'm just using that as an example. If we can get used to people from other worlds, but I don't think that anything would really survive if everybody knew there was no more nuclear weapons.
I think so, my friend. It's one of those things we just have to deal with, and I appreciate your comment on that. I think we've still got them. They're talking about even more advanced ones at this point and trying to recycle some of the material into other ones. We're constantly going ahead and refurbishing these things, so I think we've got them. But yes, we definitely don't want to go ahead and set off a nuclear Armageddon by any of our presidents, right?
No, but I just think that I have a feeling that in general, that would scare most presidents into keeping it quiet, because we wouldn't know if Russia had them. China wouldn't tell us. Nobody would tell anything.
China has in one location. God, I had a screenshot of this. Wait a minute, I've got a PDF on this one, and there's been a recent announcement about China and what's been coming out from them, and I know they've got. Oh God, it's a PDF. There's sites where they have 90 silos and 50 silos and 70 silos. So yes, China is handling a buildup of their nuclear weapons. Although we don't want it to happen, it's a reality, unfortunately, at this point in time.
Yeah, I hope they're shutting them off. That's my point. I hope they've interacted with them and just neutralized them, and that's kind of what their whole thing is now. I mean, that's kind of my hope, but that would be the reason why they would never divulge it. So thanks for taking my question. I appreciate it.
Of course, yeah. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it, Daniel. Alice W., you have your hand up on this one? You'd turn your mute off, and I can hear you.
I wonder how many other countries do we know that are dealing with these sightings? Is it all over the world now?
It's worldwide. It's a worldwide phenomenon. The Space Force came out about a year and a half ago. Oh, God, it's almost 2 years ago at this point. And they came out, it was right before the first hour report hit. Actually, it was a Friday before the first hearing with Sean Kirkpatrick and Kristen Gillibrand. And on that Friday, they admitted that, yes, UAP are happening here. It's not just happening with us. It's a worldwide phenomenon. They're interested in military assets and more. And we're working with our partners around the world to help figure this thing out. So, yeah, it's clearly a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just something here in the good old USA.
Well, if it is aliens, how many other governments do you think would have treaties with them or something like that, would have agreements with them? Do you think? I think Germany maybe was before us.
Well, that's the old Germany before they got blowed up.
Yeah, the old Germany.
You never know, but hey, potentially they had the Vril. Potentially they had the Vril. It was all female, about 6-7 feet tall, blonde hair, tight outfits.
I haven't heard of that.
Oh yeah, search on the Vril. Yeah, supposedly it was one of the, if you want to call it, what do you call it? Species that was actually helping the Germans back in the day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
One other thing, Thomas. What do you think about this nuclear war? Do you think Putin or Iran would really do it?
Oh, hell no. No one wants to end the world. Let's be honest.
No,
I think no one wants to end the world, especially now that they have a hypersonic weapon that it doesn't use anything in nuclear, but it comes down so fast. The blast that it actually creates is equivalent to what a nuclear warhead would do without all the messy radiation. So we can go ahead and blow all this stuff up.
Yeah, did you see how fast that Mach 10 rocket came in?
Mach 10 rocket?
Yeah, it traveled at the speed Mach 10. It was when they bombed Iran, when Putin bombed Iran.
Putin? I don't think Putin bombed Iran. He may have bombed Ukraine.
Yeah, he's
Ukraine,
allied with Iran.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
they
but
were incredibly fast.
They
You
were
couldn't even
fast,
see
but
them.
I guess maybe they were working at Mach 10, but this kind of stuff that we're seeing there, they're actually coming in pretty visible what was going on, whatever it was. It was interesting to say the least, and they've got stuff beyond that that is even more powerful. Now, if I can, I want to go ahead. Thank you for the question, Alice. I want to go ahead.
Thanks, Thomas.
And Michael, go ahead, Michael, last person with your hand up, and then let's get to this video. Go ahead, my friend.
Go ahead to the video. I'll put my hand up later.
All right. Thank you, sir. Here we go, folks.
Been flying around our skies. Something or things have been flying around our skies for years, and experts say they aren't from this planet. As President Biden gets ready to leave office, Joe Rogan wants him to release all the classified UFO docs.
Can you imagine Biden? He's been so dismissive of it all. Obama said a lot more about it.
Why? Because he's already in space. He's in space right now.
Biden, if you're listening right now, you have nothing to lose.
You're the president of the United States, sir. Release the hounds.
While America waits for the government's UFO secrets that may never come, local and federal authorities are scrambling to uncover the secret behind the drones flying above New Jersey. It's been nearly a month since the sightings began, and we're still in the dark. Americans just want to know what the heck is flying above us. Are we okay? Major worries by concerned citizens have the drones have been dismissed by the feds from the start, but new technology could make identifying them happen much faster. But it turns out that the FAA lacks the resources to get things going. Since the feds have failed to assure Americans that they're safe, local officials, businesses, private citizens, they're itching to take them out of the sky themselves.
Absolutely, I'd have to agree. Since we're on the topic, any comments from the back? Mike, did you have your hand up before we move on to our next one?
Yeah. On the note of nuclear war, I believe everybody's aware that if one starts, it'll end the world as we know it.
Yes.
And even after that, conventional warfare won't last for more than 10 days because everybody will run out of fuel and there won't be any more fuel coming. So as Einstein said, World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones.
Yeah, potentially. Now, here's the thing about nuclear war. You know, our civilization as humanity has launched over 2,000 nuclear warheads, except for the 2 that were initially used by the United States. So actually, we did it before then as well. We've blown up as humanity over 2,000 of these things. Now, of those, I believe the United States had at least 5 that they've blown up in space beyond Operation Starfish Prime, and Russia also blew up at least 5 in space. And here's the thing, folks, not one of the test blasts that were done of blowing up nuclear weapons has ever been interfered with, including the ones that the United States used on Japan, and the 2,000 plus that have been tested beyond that, whether they've been above ground, below ground, underwater, in space. Not one of them has been stopped by the non-human intelligence. Everyone thinks that the non-human intelligence is going to save us from a nuclear war. If they haven't stopped any of the 2,000 plus we've blown up yet, don't count on it. Freezerman, you have your hand up.
Thomas, I watched the Joe Rogan interview with James Fox, and when this topic came up about nuclear weapons and the ETs, James Fox quoted Robert Salas, and Robert Salas said that when the ETs basically shut off the nuclear weapons, it was basically taking matches out of the hands of a baby. But I don't think they would stop humanity from destroying themselves by any means.
I mean, we had Robert Salas here on the show in the past. Mike was instrumental in getting his interview on the show. One of the things they did is they basically took a simple circuit that was on the different warheads that basically put them into an offline mode that prevented that from going on. Now, is that correct, Mike?
Yeah, they were. What happened was the UAP, the Minuteman III ICBMs that were manufactured by Boeing. Robert Salas explained to us that they manufactured a short in the logic coupler, which is the guidance system for these missiles, which then shut them down because if the guidance is offline, they won't fly.
Right.
So, yeah, he got the manufacturer did a bench test.
Yeah.
And they discovered that it was shorted by negative 10 volts.
Yeah, but it's not like the actual doors blew off the missiles while they were in flight, no.
Not at all.
That seems to be more of a common problem these days.
Right. No, that's true. Exactly, with Boeing.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, at the same or near the same time, there was another situation that happened in, I believe Ukraine, which was part of Russia back at that time, where they had the same kind of interference coming from big saucer UFOs that were over their particular sites that actually came and started a countdown that the Russians couldn't stop. So on the United States side, they went ahead and scared us by turning our missiles off. In Russia, they used a different tactic. They started a countdown, even without putting in both keys and turning them, to start the countdown, and they freaked out completely. So either way, we had a non-human intelligence who was basically screwing around with our thought process. I love it. All right. Ed Brown, you have your hand up, my friend?
I do, Thomas, and I hope I don't get banned to the Pointless Forest for disagreeing with you on this particular point.
Well, that's fine.
Though I do agree that they have not interfered yet. Those two instances that you mentioned, particularly with Salas, was after we had done all these nasty tests and had quit doing them. Could well be, if there is an agreement between our country and NHI, it could be an agreement that we will no longer use them, and that may be why it's been so quiet over the last 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
But there's a good possibility. I won't say good possibility, but we can't rule out the possibility that if we tried to use them, either us or Russia, that they would.
Well, there's the United States, there's Russia, there's Pakistan, there's India.
Always.
We've got them down in Iran. Israel has them. There's a lot of countries who are in power. All it takes is one to go off and another to go off and someone to launch something into someone's backyard. Then it gets messy really quick. But
the thing that we, I think, also need to consider as we look at this is that we don't know what's going to happen if we start escalating into World War III. I mean, it's very unpredictable.
Yeah, but we can't look at this as a fail-safe. It could be a fail-safe, but it's more of a hedge than it is a definite.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Just wanted to point that out.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the input, my friend. And no, you're not getting banned to the back. Not at all. I always love when you bring up your questions. You represent a big part of our audience, and I'm glad that you're here to ask these kind of things. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Hey, Mo. Hey, Mo. I can call you Mo, I think. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So what I've understood from this train of thought, even though that's not my belief, but apparently they are not telling us that they're going to save us, but they're actually telling us that we cannot blow them up. I think this is their message, that we cannot do nothing to them. Maybe. I don't know.
Interesting thoughts. So basically saying that then our nuclear weapons have no power against them, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Oh.
They are not saviors. They're just telling us that you can do that.
Because if you look at all the big natural disasters that we've had famines, we've had horrible things of genocide going on the planet time and time again, and all these different things where it's human on human. We've had World War I, World War II. We've been out of World War III, but all these things have gone on, and there's never been an interference to stop us. So, and there's never been a reach out to humanity saying, oh my God, you had this huge natural disaster. There's a famine. You guys can't die. You need to survive. They've been hands off.
Yeah, Prime Directive, Star Trek.
Yeah, absolutely. Ari, go ahead. Your hand is up.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I've been hearing a lot of people talk about like, well, they're not going to stop us from using nukes or whatever. But like, what if they want resources that's on Earth? Like, we don't know the full history of why we're here, what these beings are. So who's to say like Earth isn't a hot spot for like, I don't know, new elements, something, I don't know.
Maybe this is their planet. They've been here longer than us. Maybe if you want to go ahead and look in a mirror, you may see an alien hybrid. That could be humanity for that matter. They've had their hands involved in a lot of different things going on this planet. So they may be more interested in the overall biosphere itself and the planet, not necessarily the hairless apes that like to throw nuclear weapons at each other.
True.
Yeah. I appreciate that insight. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you. I appreciate coming back. Hang out. If you have any more questions, put up your hand. I'll call on you. Alice W., your hand is up again.
Yes. You're talking about the aliens saving us, but it hasn't happened yet. But nuclear war is probably the only thing that would also destroy their use of the Earth.
But they didn't stop the nuclear weapons being dropped in Japan, did they?
No.
Potentially, they saw us blow up nuclear weapons in the United States and knew what we were doing before then.
Okay.
Yeah. I would, we would think it's a good fail-safe. All we can say is time will tell. It's he said, she said kind of a thing. What is your thought on it, Alice? What do you think would go on?
With the aliens, because of the incident where the warheads or whatever were turned off, that kind of gives me hope that they would interfere in a good way. But I haven't met anybody. I haven't met any of them to talk to them about it yet.
Absolutely. Come here, Mocha. Come on, get up here. I've got a dog barking in the distance. There you go, Mocha. Enjoy.
I'd like to think that they would.
Yes. That would be a good thing, and a lot of people have said that, and a lot of people have said the aliens are only good, but you never know. Thank you, Alice.
That's
I
right.
appreciate that. Now, coming up, setting our sights temporarily back on the topic of drones. I've got more UFO topics to come out, but I've got 3 news stories here. The first one is saying government is hiding the truth and mysterious drones. On the mysterious drones, a former defense official claims. Could this be Lou or somebody else? Well, let's find out on this video. Let's see where it goes. Here we go, everybody.
Welcome back. As unexplained drones leave millions on edge across the country, one former defense official recently issued this warning about the government's secrecy around UFOs.
Excessive secrecy has led to grave misdeeds against loyal civil servants, military personnel, and the public, all to hide the fact that we are not alone in the cosmos. If we approach the UAP topic in the same way as we as Americans have met other challenges, we can restore our faith in our government institutions. I believe that we as Americans can handle the truth, and I also believe the world deserves the truth.
Yeah, Fox News contributor and former Special Operations Intel analyst and drone expert Brett Velkovitz joins us now. Brett, thank you for your service. Thanks for joining.
Okay, I need to point this out. This is what you call a 5-head, but that hair sticking up is just unbelievable. Holy cow.
Yes. We listen to that, and he's talking about extraterrestrial, but we really don't have to go outside of our stratosphere to see our government being very secretive and not very trustworthy. I'm looking at the timeline here on these drones, and you have Mayorkas at DHS briefing and saying no big deal. You have Admiral Kirby saying it. These are people who lied to our faces about the border and about the Chinese spy balloon. If that's the credibility and you're saying there's nothing to worry about here, that makes me think there's something to worry about here.
Yeah, that's the issue, is they've destroyed the credibility with the American people. And look, I want to believe there's some other form of life out there, just like the rest of us. And I do have a real curiosity about what's up on our stars, but I'm also pragmatic about it and realistic. And to say there's some alleged secret government group that for decades has been covering up evidence of aliens and hiding UFOs in their possession seems a little far-fetched to me. Frankly, I don't think the current government is smart enough to do that. But, and then these sources are always some whistleblowers allegedly too afraid to come forward. What would be the incentive of that? And also, why does no one ever seem to be able to show me clear photos of these UFOs? And that was one of the issues with these recent drone sightings is the more people across the country who sent me photos of these drones, the more I started to understand many things in the sky are being misidentified. People are finally starting to look up. They're wondering what's up there now. And they're seeing a lot of things that they don't recognize. And it's not their fault. The problem is our government hasn't done a good job protecting us from modern day threats by explaining what is regularly above us and what threats we're going to face at home sooner than later. And Joey, the rapid innovation right now of lethal drone technology over the years due to ongoing wars overseas has forever changed the ways wars are going to be fought. In Ukraine, for instance, an estimated 70 to 80% of the daily attacks that take place on the front lines are conducted with drones. You've got even North Korean soldiers who have entered the fight recently being taken out left and right by these kamikaze handheld drones. And frankly, we're not ready for this. Our military is not prepared for that style of fight. We put too much money in the wrong thing, and there's just a lot of arrogance on our current government administration that thinks they've got it all figured out. But we're never going to fight another war without drones, and our adversaries, they surely get it. I mean, there was a Chinese defense contractor who just signed an agreement for over 1 million handheld kamikaze drones to be produced for the Chinese government before 2026. That scale of production doesn't exist in the U.S. They get it, but our government's not prioritizing it.
Yeah, I've done a lot of coverage here, different shows on Fox about drones because I have friends in that industry coming from the EOD world, and it is the absolute arms race of the future. You talk about us spending money. We spend all this money on the F-35, and you can do that with a Walmart drone now. You can implement something that.
Oh, hold on for a second. These are not Walmart drones. I just have to go ahead and bring that up really quick. Brian Pemble, you did have your hand up for a comment on this?
Yeah, just look. For the audience, look how he conveniently takes the question, turns it away from drones and into the war in Ukraine and everything else. This guy's a polished liar with high hair. I mean, this is classic BS. So anything that this Brett guy says is absolute baloney.
Yeah, highbrow, high hair. At least he's got something up there.
That's right.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. More than me. Mine's a little bit thin these days. Yeah, it's the old fall forward, not comb forward, but you got to have fun with it.
I have none, so he's got a lot more than me.
All right, let's continue on. Here we go, friends.
But when we take a step back and look at what's happening, we're kind of honed in on New Jersey, but the lead up to this, I think, created a lot of the hysteria. You had, I think the first thing reported on were drones going near military bases overseas. Then you have a Chinese citizen being caught trying to get back to China after flying a drone near a military base. Then you start to have this happening in the Northeast. And I guess my question to you is, my kind of take on this is a lot of it is coming from people actually finally looking up and paying attention. But is there, within all of this, a layer of there is something specific going on that we need answers on?
We definitely need answers. And look, the recent drone sightings just frankly showed how vulnerable we are as a nation, and that we are no longer in control of our airspace. And the government's lack of adequate response just made matters worse. But I understand why they were like that, frankly. It's because they were caught off guard that how little they even knew themselves, because we don't have the systems in place at the federal and state levels to monitor, identify, disrupt these rogue drone threats. And my concern is our government's just going to wait until somebody dies to do anything, and that's not acceptable. That's because the U.S. doesn't have a clear government-wide policy on how to deal with unauthorized drone incursions. It's a national security threat. All the agencies like to say it's someone else's issue, but we know where the bottleneck is as the drone community. It's the FBI's drone department. It's the FAA's UAS office. These are the two most important offices for domestic drone defense, yet they don't even know how to properly mitigate these threats, and they definitely don't possess the widespread technology across the U.S. to stop it.
Yeah, a lot of people say 9/11 happened because government agencies didn't talk to each other. Let's pray that's not the problem here. But you're an expert, and you're getting in on this. You're part of a Fox Nation special, Close Encounters of the Drone Kind. It's streaming now. Let's listen.
Whoops. I think we already played this one
theory
folks,
that
the
got
other
some
day.
traction.
Mike, we played this one already, didn't we?
Oh, we did. Yeah, exactly.
Was that, what do they call it again?
And it's streaming now. Let's listen.
On Fox Nation, but why did they have it available for download from one of their story pages?
That's odd. Yeah.
Whoops. Well, yes. We may have to play that one again because, well, the Christmas broadcast, Christmas Eve, some Biden nets got upset about, well, we'll leave that off for another day. But yes, interesting to say the least. Now, I do have another story, Mike, one more in our video entourage coming from Elizabeth Vargas Reports, where they're talking about, I don't want this one, or do I want that one? Let me look at this really quick. All right, I'm not going to play this one. I'll go back to this one and play it. I've got two of them with the same subject from two different times from the day, but I like what Rand Paul has to say. Let's play this here and see where it takes us. This one is titled, Lawmakers Considering Drone Legislation. The last thing we need to do to get out of this really quick, if I can get on my soapbox and talk about this, the drones that we've been seeing in the United States, right? These things. Oh, no, you can't see those. Where am I at? Oh, here we go. These things. These are not consumer drones. These are not drones you can go ahead and buy from Walmart or Amazon or directly from DJI or whoever you want to get it from. The last thing we need out of this is more regulation, more laws against the common citizen. We should have stuff, if these are class 3 or 4 military-style drones, we need to have regulations against these things. Does that make sense, Mike?
No, you're absolutely right. But right now, again, we're talking about it's a lame duck Congress, lame duck administration. Yeah. I don't think they're going to be moving forward on anything to deal with what's been going on.
Yeah.
Not now.
I guess time will tell on this one. Mo, you have your hand up again?
Yeah, I'm just feeling sad about these drone bans because I personally planning to buy a drone for my personal use. And
yeah.
I find this like a fun activity. And if you ban me from flying that, which I have never seen a drone in my life, and I have never used a drone in my life.
Yeah.
And I want to try that. That's a bummer.
Well, do yourself a favor. If you're getting a drone and you still have an Amex, buy it an Amex, because Amex automatically doubles your warranty. And they also cover accidental loss. So if you're flying your drone and you accidentally fly it into an object and it falls down and crashes and busts apart, they will replace it for absolutely free.
Oh, okay. Got it. Thanks, Thomas.
Well, of course, yeah. If I can, I just want to go ahead and we did have a couple super chats just come in. One coming in just now from Mr. Catfish 2100, Mr. Yerp. He's been saying that forever. He's been here since our first live stream, my friends. Thank you for coming back again, Mr. Catfish, on a regular basis. Oh, we had Giant Arc Sephora, a PLN. Is that from Poland? Maybe. It could be for 25. And we have Freezerman 71 coming to us from Canada for $10 Canadian. Based on Canadian rates and taxes these days, it's about $6 American. But we appreciate everything. We're just sorry that our friends in Canada are dealing with what they're dealing with. Our hearts and love is with everybody. All right, that's everybody. Let's get on to this next video. Here we go, friends.
Despite a recent drop in drone sightings, as we move on to this next story, some businesses and local law enforcement, they want the power to shoot down suspected airborne threats, including drones, without approval from the U.S. military. While the federal government has downplayed any danger, there are a lot of folks living in New Jersey, New York. They want to be able to just protect themselves. And lawmakers are considering taking action on this. News Nation's Joe Khalil live in Washington, D.C. with details. Joe, I mean, how realistically soon could this happen where people have the right to just shoot them down?
You know, I don't think that's in the cards at all for individuals or for businesses. I think it's really unrealistic. But for local and state law enforcement, I think that's another question. The obvious question, as we've seen these drone sightings over New Jersey and New York, is what are these things? Where are they coming from? But beyond that, the next question, and from our perch in Congress, we've been hearing this a lot, talking to senators, House members, is who has the authority to make the call, to bring them down, to investigate them, to potentially do something in between there? That answer is not exactly clear, but lawmakers are in a position to do something about it. So we heard a lot of conversations about passing new bills that might actually give the authority not only to the DOD and the Pentagon and the military, but rather to state and local officials, state and local law enforcement, if they were to see a drone. What are the rules of engagement? Those rules have not yet been written into law. Again, several attempts to try to do this in the last couple of months. The most prominent one, I'd say, came from Senator Gary Peters, mostly because he is the chairman of the Senate Homeland Security Committee. He's very involved in this discussion, in this topic. The bill that he put forward, which had a lot of bipartisan Democrat and Republican support, it would enhance local law enforcement's authority to track these drones. Also allow local authorities to start to disrupt, disable, or seize them, potentially bringing them down out of the sky. And it would also fast track some federal agencies to give them authority as well, not just those who reside in the Pentagon. So there was a lot of back and forth over this. Senator Rand Paul was the lone objection to getting this bill fast-tracked. If you want to fast-track a bill, you need buy-in from 100 out of 100 senators. It's got to be unanimous. He was the objector. This is what he said about why he raised his hand and said, not yet.
Federal agencies, including the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI, have stated clearly that there is no current national security risk, no public safety concern, and no unlawful drone activity requiring intervention. So there either is a problem or there isn't a problem. If there is a problem, let's discuss how to do it while protecting the communications of innocent Americans whose communications could be caught up in this legislation.
So again, Adrian, I know Republicans and Democrats were a little frustrated. Rand Paul blocked this. But the point that he did bring up was we are hearing from the DOD, the White House, Homeland Security, that these things don't pose a threat. But we didn't get a clear answer on what they are. So there were a lot of senators on both sides of the aisle telling me they're not so reassured by that. And for that reason, they do want to continue to pursue new laws, potentially changing some jurisdiction. So we'll see what happens in the new year.
All right, Joe Khalil for us there live from the Hill. Thank you very much.
All right, on that note, now, interesting enough, yes, there's people who want to get legislation out there to go ahead and I think the ability to go ahead and shoot these things down is a great idea. But part of our issue that we're dealing with here is literally that we're looking at the ability to, there is more than just the ability to shoot these things down. Anytime we have any legislation coming in from Congress, people were saying Congress is so corrupt. Oh, shut up. Yeah, I get you, my friends. But the thing is, we have to look at what are all the points on all these legislations that are out there and what we're going to deal with to get to the next step on that one. Now, someone in the audience is saying, bring out the orbs. Blitz, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Coming to us in a very brief post coming from Think Tank, who's also known as 528 Vibes over on Twitter. We have a video from Highlands Ranch, Colorado. And quickly, I need to go to Google, and I need to google.com, and I need to say, let me just check this. Distance from all right. I wanted to see what was the distance between where this orb was seen and Crystal Springs, Colorado. Why? The reason I bring up Crystal Springs, Colorado, is because that is where one of the headquarters is for the U.S. Space Force. So if there was something flying around in that area, that's what we're kind of getting towards. If I go ahead and bring up the map, I'll go back onto this, bring it up again. Let me go ahead and just show this on the screen before I show this video. What am I talking about? Yeah, there was an orb that was seen over Colorado. You know, generally these orbs are seen over military installations and such. So let me go ahead and bring up the map. Let's bring it up here, document solo. Uh-oh. No. Let's get to this one and bring up document solo. All right, so the actual orb itself was seen in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. No military bases nearby, but this is where it was potentially seen. Let me go ahead on this note. Let me go ahead and bring up the video now that you see where we're kind of looking at. And if we go from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, it's a good distance away from where Crystal Springs, Colorado is. And that's where we have our Space Force / Air Force headquarters, which isn't that far from Crystal Palace, which is that military base we have in the side of a mountain. So let me get back to quick time on this. What we're looking at is we've got a video that's going on here of an orb. Someone has got it. Let me go ahead and show you. It's right up here at this particular point. We're going to go ahead and play it. We'll play it through for the first time. It goes for 1:05. And what's interesting about this is this orb looks very familiar to the orbs that we have seen in the past that were reported over, I believe, Iraq in the past, Mike?
Yeah, that's correct, Thomas. That's
now,
where they were.
The thing that's interesting about this, Mike, although when we were seeing the orb that was, I think it was over Mosul, right? The Mosul orb. When we saw that orb over Mosul, the interesting thing about it is, although it was coming from overhead, it had the same kind of lighting on it, which for me makes it a little bit interesting. Some people are saying it's a balloon, it's a blimp.
Oh, I lost it.
Some people are saying it's an orb.
There it is.
I want to leave this in for our audience to go ahead and figure out, because you know what? It looks similar to what we have seen in the past, but, you know, we just have to spend some time with this, do some more in-depth analysis. But this is something that I had seen earlier today. But Nick in the back, share this with us, if I could, before I call on Andy with your hand up. Nick, what was it in this video that caught your eye that you wanted to have this shown on the show today?
Because it was just the orb. It's just pretty interesting that we see orbs nowadays. It's just more common than it was before. So I thought it was pretty interesting.
Right. But I don't think we've seen an orb like this one in a video in a while, have we? We've seen a lot of orbs in the evenings lit up in that orangish, goldish kind of a color. But this one that we're looking at here really looks like that Mosul orb, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes, it does. It's just it just goes and it goes.
Right.
I often wonder if they try to shoot these things down. Like, could they shoot these things down, Thomas? You think? Could they like try to shoot these things down, or no? It's too dangerous. You think?
You know, I would say it never hurts trying. But the thing I have to say is, why at the end of this did you stop recording? Why didn't you keep on recording until, you know, it goes out of complete sight? So that's the only thing for me. It's a short, 1:05 clip. We haven't seen anything that's any longer than this. And if there's anything that's longer on this, we're definitely going to go ahead and bring this one up because it's of a high interest to our audience and myself as well. All right, let's see. Andy W., you have your hand up, my friend. Go ahead.
Yeah, bit interesting. Mainly interesting part is where it's jinking about in the sky a little bit. Doesn't really look like it would be doing that in the wind, but I was just wondering if
the janking around in the sky happens when you move the camera, or not just the camera, you take a step. So you're seeing it go there where it's going left to right and it goes down. And then it goes to the right a bit more. That's because the person who's recording this is actually moving. Trust me, I've recorded orbs in front of my house. I've done a similar thing. You're trying to take a step back, trying to keep it on the phone, keep it recording, and then you'll actually get some of these ziggy-zaggy movements that you're talking about, Andy.
Yeah, okay. Well, it'd be interesting if you pixied it.
I've actually got it. Let me zoom out here a little bit more. I can actually, which is nice about QuickTime on Mac OS, is you have the ability, there it is, to go ahead and zoom in multiple times. And what we're seeing, if I go back at the start of the video on this one, let me zoom out a bunch more so I can see where it is. Let me zoom into it a couple times more. Nothing like a video application that you can go and easily zoom in on. Andy?
Yeah, 100%.
So there's that regular thing. Let me go ahead and fix my back. There we go. We're seeing the actual darkness on it. And what we need to do is, there was someone else who I had seen right before this had started, that went and showed this, and they were saying, this is what I like. This is something that we've seen before. I need to go back and watch the analysis on this because it's important for us to look at the details to understand specifically what we're dealing with, because this could be a common occurrence of something that we're dealing with. Now, Ann Joanne asks, what application are you using, Thomas? I'm just using good old QuickTime Player on Mac OS. Yeah, some of us have Macs. It's think different, right? Right, Andy?
Yep.
All right. Let me go ahead and get back to the guest. Let me go ahead and see what I can go ahead and bring up next. All right. A bunch of stuff going on. I just need to figure out where I'm at to bring up the next piece. Everyone's like, hey, Thomas, you do such a great job. And I was like, yeah, I know. But sometimes you have to struggle to bring up the next piece. Where am I at in my Twitter feed? We've got that one. We've covered that one. Well, no, we don't need to see that one. We've seen enough of that one. Well, this one's interesting. This one, what I like about this one, we're actually getting some details, meaning whenever you're seeing a UFO in the sky, we should have the location, GPS preferably, but not just the date, but also the time that it took place. That way you were able to look on a lot of the different platforms like Flight Radar 24, figure out what's in the sky, right, Andy?
Yeah. As much information as possible, yeah. Definitely.
So let me bring this one up here, get to it. So again, the description is coming from Ruby by Proxy, who looks like this person is from the United Kingdom. Let me get this up here. All right, let's go ahead and show it. Ruby, object UFO filmed over a U.S. Department of Energy laboratory, Brookhaven National Laboratory, with a second independent eyewitness from another location. Second witness and screenshot in the comments. So we have someone who's picking up a video from somewhere. It looks like it's coming from Reddit, reporting this on Twitter, trying to give us as much information as they possibly have. So let me go ahead, and this one looks a little different from what we've seen in the past. And this is a recording of them looking on Reddit. But, well, that's an interesting thing, whatever it can possibly be. Actually, let me go ahead and download this one since you were brought up about Pixie before. Let me download this video. Not there, actually, from here. Download this one. See if I can get it to download. Open an external application. Not that one. Where did it open it? Nope, that's not it. Here we go. So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at something that is clearly orange, and it's not really moving per se as much as it's standing in place. Now, what are we looking at? We're looking at something that has a different morphology, meaning a different shape to it. It's got kind of a square look to it on the sides, going up on the top, which it has more of, almost looks like a little house, doesn't it, Andy?
Yeah, it's the unfortunate thing for me is there's no context of anything else. It's just, you know, actually now you're showing that they're
Let me go ahead and bring that up so everyone can go ahead and see the bottom of this, so we can go ahead and show this. What we've got is on the bottom of the video, they're actually showing, hey, look, here's my apartment. Here's where I'm going and grabbing this. But anytime you're going ahead and grabbing any video of something, it's always great to go ahead and share the exact location of where you're at. But apparently they must be near Brookhaven, and they're seeing an object up in the sky that doesn't line up with what they normally see. And I would say this doesn't line up with anything I would normally see. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like unlike anything I've ever seen. We don't know what it is. I was glad they did actually show the building down below, because of, you're just looking into a black image, or it could have been anything. But
now, if people would see a Chinese lantern, and I've seen plenty of videos of Chinese lanterns, Andy, those particular videos would go ahead and show something that looks like a traditional orb shape. This is not what we're seeing here that would be a traditional orb shape, for that matter. It's something different. That's why I threw that into my list of things to go ahead and cover on today's show.
Yeah, also with a Chinese lantern, because it's lit by basically a candle, it would flicker. You get that sort of, the flickering, and I'm not sort of really seeing anything.
No, we're not, are we? Let me zoom into this a whole bunch.
There's movement. You can see movement in the color, but it's not like a flickering candle.
No, it's not, is it?
Yeah.
It's very interesting, to say the least, and I know one of the things we haven't been covering here are a lot of UFO sightings, just because a lot of them could be one way or the other, but the reality is I want to start leaving this to the audience. On that note, we haven't had a survey yet tonight, Andy. Let me go ahead and see what our audience thinks. Let me start a poll. Let's call this orb video. Real? Not an orb. Simple enough. Let's go ahead and see where our audience takes us on this one. All right. Hey, Google, set a timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds, please.
Okay. 1 minute, 30 seconds.
All right. We got 1 minute and 30 seconds left to go. Would you look at that? Hey, let me go ahead and find my sound effects app. Let me go ahead and bring up the pulsing logo. That's what it's called. Where does our audience take this with just 1 minute and 13 seconds left to go, with just 94 votes in? Is it real, or it's not an orb. What do you think? For me, it looks different. There's a shape that's there. There's a morphology that's there. It's something we haven't seen. Even Alex Lewis is saying, hey, it's a balloon, people. So we know Alex is saying it's not an orb, but the shape it's different. It's unique. Most important thing we need to look for is, have we seen this before? I'll put this in a box and saying we haven't seen it before, but I have to say the video of this looks 100% realistic. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, which isn't exactly expert, but it's definitely not an orb.
Yeah.
So I myself clicked real on that. So
yeah. With just 15 seconds left to go, come on, audience. You have 182 votes in out of how many people are watching the show? A bunch. Let's see where this goes to on this matter. With just 4 seconds left to go, dismiss that. No, I don't want to show another ad during broadcast on that note. There we go. 50% of our audience says it's real. Let me take a screenshot of this one. There we go. Let me go ahead and stop that wonderful, not annoying music and end the poll. So coming out of it, Andy, 58% of our audience says, yes, it's real. 42% saying it's not an orb. So coming from me as the host of the show, I will go with the audience every time saying that it's real. So this is definitely something that's unknown. We can call it a UAP. It's not clearly a Chinese lantern. It's not clearly something we know of, but it's something that's unknown, which we're going to call this as real.
Yeah, and somebody I just seen, if I can find their name. No, I can't. Sorry, I missed it. But they said it's definitely not a balloon from Party City. So there we go, maybe.
And I've seen some videos up lately where people are calling out blimps and saying stuff that it's a UFO. Blimps have a specific, it's the shape. When they talk about the shapes, it's called a morphology. It's something you can't miss. If we could, Mo, you have your hand up, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah, hello.
Go ahead.
I just want to calm down the hype. Yes, I've been researching the field of UFOs for 12 years now, and there is nothing that will make me more happy in the world than NHIs that are just landing into the White House. But let's just calm down and look at things rationally.
Yeah.
And
have a discerning eye.
Calm down. Yeah,
don't believe everything that you hear. Be skeptical coming in, but look at something because you don't want to believe, you want to understand the facts, right, Mo?
Exactly. Yeah. But sometimes I can feel that the NHIs are just showing off.
Oh, gosh, yes. Like that video I had that I showed when Lou Elizondo was around and came on the show. It's something I've showed many times when you've got a craft coming in at 14,000 miles per hour, coming within 70 feet of the front of the craft, and basically inserting themselves into an air show where where the humans are supposed to be showing off our capabilities, but the NHI jumps in and says, we're better than you are. Kaz, go ahead. Kaz, you have your hand up. Going once. You might be muted. Need to unmute your mic. 3.
There we go. Can you hear me?
We got you now, my friend. Go ahead.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. Great show. Been watching you guys for a long time, and I apologize for not having a camera. But
don't worry about it. Cameras are not necessary. Ask Mike.
I think Andy and I could be twins.
Yeah.
And yes, my avatar is a Klingon. But anyway, my thing is why do we always see someone filming this, that, and the other thing, and it looks like they're having a seizure? They can't stay on point. They can't keep it in focus. And it's running all over the place. And then we have to make hide or hair of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. People get excited when they see things like this, but the biggest flag for me, Kaz, is when someone cuts off the video feed when there's still things are going on, right?
Exactly.
People
See,
can get
that's
excited.
exactly
They're
what I'm
going to
saying.
see something flying around. They're going to bring up their.
It's a simple thing. Just focus. Just focus. Yeah, and nothing. That's my thing. It's it's got to be made up or fake or whatever it is. If they cut it and they can't find it, and then focusing is incredible, they can't do it.
My audio kicked off. I don't know how the fuck that happened. How long could
sorry.
it be? How long has my audio been out for? Hopefully not too long, folks. I have no idea how my audio kicked on. I am sorry. I apologize. Yes, I'm mute. I can see that.
Couldn't even tell, Thomas.
What?
I couldn't even tell.
Well, you in the back can't hear it, but I'm seeing 727 about a minute ago. I'm on mute about 727. Yeah. Somehow
I heard you replying to me just fine. So.
Well, you can hear me in the back, but the people in the front can't hear me. And let me go ahead and take a look. Do we have a bunch of people leave the show because they couldn't hear me? Oh, come on. Let's get to it. Oh, probably. But either way. Yeah, it's one of those situations when we're looking into things in the sky. We're trying to figure out what's there. It's trying to bring out the truth. What was your initial question against Kaz so the audience can hear me all right?
It wasn't really a question. It was more of a statement. It was plainly, why does everyone who's filming this stuff either have a seizure or for some reason they can't focus?
Right.
Or it's like, calm down, film what you're filming so everybody can see clearly.
Right.
And don't put it up there so everybody gets to guess.
People
or, like
get
you said,
right.
Cut it off at the end.
So people get excited when they're recording things.
Oh, yeah.
And they may get, jitters and different things that are going on. My biggest piece that our audience couldn't hear me on because I was really quiet. I was probably really quiet, although some may have heard me. The biggest thing that they could be dealing with is that why does the video get terminated so early where you're still watching this stuff, like we saw the orb earlier, and that orb was moving around, and all of a sudden the video cuts a minute 3 into it. Why are you cutting the video when the thing is still moving around? Why aren't you sharing the entire clip of what's happening?
Yeah, and that's my point exactly. You focus on it, follow it until it's done.
Yeah.
So that metal thing that you were just showing, that orb, that could have been somebody just throwing some metal thing across the slow down the video, the whole 9 yards. So.
All right. One more time. I am not that there's anything wrong with boomers. I'm not a boomer. It's called Gen X, my friend. There is another generation that comes after the boomers, and that's Gen X, and that's me. Born in July 1st, 1968.
and we're all the better for it, too.
Absolutely. Now, getting back to more things about you. Actually, Ed, before we move on, go ahead. I think you might be a boomer. That's a good thing, though.
Yeah, well, just a real quick comment in answer to Kaz's question. You kind of alluded to this. And I think it happened to me during an experience where I was seeing something, and all of a sudden, I didn't take a picture, but I was looking at it. And all of a sudden, I got this feeling, this thing's about to get me, and you want to run inside. And it could well be people are taking these pictures, and when it really gets exciting, and after they've said, look, Ethel, look what's in the sky, they realize it's time to get back in the house. That may be an explanation.
It could be, but you know what? We just need to go ahead and bring out the truth. That's it. And if you're recording something, all I can do is tell our audience we have, how many people we have watching? 1,133 people watching. If you're watching the show, you haven't subscribed yet, what the hell are you waiting for? We'd love to have you as a regular here on Disclosure tonight. More importantly, if you haven't given us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, we only have 352 likes. What are we doing wrong? Please let us know. We give a lot to everybody for the price of admission, which is absolutely free. So give us something back. We'd love to have you as a regular here on Disclosure tonight. Now, getting back to this, Mo, you have your hand up again.
I just want to talk about the fact that you get excited when you record a video. I've been there.
So have I. I've recorded
Yeah.
videos of orbs flying in front of my house many times, and the truth of the matter is, after the third or fourth time, you get used to it. And the last time we had it, it's like I was going out to look for the aurora borealis, and it's like, shit, it's just another fucking orb.
Yeah. You just have to record until the end. Keep calm and stay rational. And I've recorded like 20 videos, and all 20 videos have been debunked.
Yeah.
So it's a bummer for me, but it's thumbs up for the truth.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Kaz, you have your hand up again?
Yes, sir, and thank you. My other question would be, out of all of these films, sightings, whatever, how come we don't have one person with a decent, real camera sitting out there waiting and looking?
Because
and
cell
following and
phones
filming?
are instant. There's something
I
you
get- I
have
get it, I
on
get
you.
it.
And don't forget though, Kaz, when you're recording something on a really good camera, the amount of exposure time that you have to get a good image lengthens out depending on the camera. Unless you're paying for a $3,000 or $4,000 Sony camera or a $2,000 Sony camera plus a lens, you're going to have a longer exposure time. And when you get to that longer exposure times, you're going to be getting things that are blurred together in each particular frame that you're looking at.
Right. But my thing is, how many people do you have watching right now?
1,099.
Not one person owns a camera like that could film any of this.
Well, the thing is, you have to have it. You have to have it around. A lot of times when you're recording this stuff, you have to have a camera set up on a tripod. Otherwise, you're going to get a little dot that's going to extend it out when you're trying to hold the camera in place. So, yeah, you still have to have a camera, but the reality is everybody's got a cell phone. So if you've got a cell phone, use what you have.
I hear you. And thanks for letting me voice my opinion.
Well, of course, I appreciate it, my friend. Nick, you have your hand up, my friend.
Absolutely rock.
Thank you, sir. I try to do we try to do our best here. Right, Mike?
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely right, Thomas. We do our best.
Mike, you're awesome. You're awesome.
He's got the voice that I don't have.
Well, Thomas is doing all the work. Mike is just checking everything in the background.
I agree.
You're checking me,
guys.
Mike. You must be like Santa Claus because you're checking your list and you're checking it twice to figure out if I've been naughty or nice.
Right.
Yeah. It could be something like that.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Happy holidays to you as well.
Yeah. Nick, go ahead. Oh gosh, no! Stop! No! Go! Stop! Ah! Sorry, I had to unplug my Google Home. It started playing a freaking song.
I sent a video in the back chat. I don't think you'll like this one, but it's a video. It's a video. I think it kind of explains why we see a.
Maybe next time, Nick. We're right in the middle of it, but I need to vet stuff before we bring it live. But let's see, Nick. This video is why we see a ball of light in the sky. We'll deal with that one on another one. But yes, a lot of times you'll see a ball of light in the sky because your camera's out of focus. When your camera's out of focus, it's going to show a spherical object. When you bring it in focus, it'll give you something that's more honest of what you're actually looking at. Now, to get back to the topic of UFOs, not just UFOs, we're talking about the kind of scenarios of Linda Moulton Howe talking about cattle barbecues from aliens. I'm not going to say the M word because you know what I'm talking about. I'll bring up the words, but let's get to it. Yes, there's been our friend Mike. You know Roni Vernay, don't you?
Yes, we had him on the show. He's a good friend of ours. He does a lot of research in the Amazon on UAP.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's bring this one up. Apparently there has been a bunch of cattle barbecues going on in Argentina. Well, we know Argentinians love to have their barbecues, my friend. This one isn't exactly great because we're talking about blood extracted from the anus, removed genitals, clean cuts on the jaw with the removal of muscles, removal of tongue, removal of eyeballs. Some hypnotize mutilated animals, like this poor little calf found alive in a state of hypnosis. We haven't heard about stuff like this going on in a long time, have we, Mike?
No, not at all. That's very interesting. How did they know that that calf was in a hypnotic state? I wonder.
Because it was just standing there, not moving, like it was hypnotized or hypnotized.
Maybe.
Yeah, I have no words for that one.
No, neither do I.
Yeah.
It is interesting. Yeah.
It is interesting, but it's one of those things we need to bring out because as we're looking at stuff like this, yes, he was probably in shock. Holy crap, coming from Kelly Brout with those piercing blue eyes. Kelly, did your eyes have something to do with this? I don't think so, but yeah, poor little cow, my friends. Yes, it's what's going on, and we've had a bunch of incidents like this in the American Southwest. I think it was about 6 months ago, there were some cases of this going on in Oregon, but now it's happening all the way down south in Argentina.
Yeah, that's interesting, Argentina.
Yeah. They've never found animals like this poor little calf that were alive. Poor little thing.
Yeah. But they have no idea as far as the other cattle that were barbecued. That what the cause of that was? They just don't know, right?
No, they don't know. If I bring up another check here we go. There's some of the places that happened on September 24th. Then on November 4th, and then on September 15th. So it's been all in this area in the southern parts of South America, but it's interesting to see this is going on. Now on September 15th, almost 30 cattle were found mysteriously barbecued in La Palma, La Pampa, Argentina. The animals were on the ground in pairs. Some had perfect cuts on the wheelbarrow region and were missing their tongues. Seems like they wanted to keep them quiet, eh, Mike?
That's one way of looking at it, Thomas.
Yeah.
I agree.
A government veterinarian was called in to get more information. While 2 male calves found a live calf, they seem to be hypnotized. Moving its ears and foaming at the mouth. The owner also noticed a fallen cow had something on its back as if it had been sprayed with some kind of liquid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were they able to do a toxicology and identify the liquid?
You know, we'll have to you'll have to reach out to Vernie and Roney on that to see if you can find something out for us, Mike, because this is interesting to say the least.
Oh, it sure as hell is. Yeah. No, you're right about that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll reach out. We'll do a follow-up on this story.
Yeah, that would be good because, you know, it's one of the stories that we had in our in my list of things to go ahead and cover. You know, it's one of those things that it seems to align to a bunch of different sighting of different cases of potential non-human intelligence dealing with our cattle, and we just have to figure out why would they be doing that. I still don't understand.
No, it still really doesn't make any sense, but maybe Roney has more information on the investigation that they were doing down there.
Yeah.
I'll find out.
In another controversial video, Mike, I need to go ahead and bring up, we've got a video that was playing.
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay, so this is coming from Tennessee. I'm going to leave the audio up of some people seeing a UFO orb and seeing some amazing things coming out of it. All I have to say is the behavior that we're seeing coming out of this orb, Mike, is not your usual orb behavior. And while it looks interesting seeing things coming out of it, this is one of those kinds of videos you see and you look at. You just have to take with a grain of salt because what we're seeing doesn't align with other videos that we've seen. Again, 27 seconds and they stop recording. Mike, if you're recording an event like this, why would you stop after 27 seconds? It doesn't make sense, does it?
No, it really doesn't. Absolutely no sense at all.
Yeah.
It's suspicious, to say the least.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Now, one of the things I wanted to bring up earlier, remember when we had issues going on and we had Russian bombers that were coming in off of Alaska, and the Department of Defense went and within hours released videos of that. Plus, we had another Reaper drone that was over the Black Sea that was getting bombarded by Russian Su fighters that were dropping fuel to go ahead and take the thing down. Again, crystal clear 4K video coming out, right? Within hours of the event happening. Well, if you look at this, let me get to this one here, video guest. We've got a picture, supposedly, of China's new 6th generation NGAD fighter that's out there that doesn't have a tail wing, that were leaked to the war zone. And now we've got pictures of them. The only people who could leak this, Mike, to the war zone would be our American military, right?
Oh, American intelligence. It's the only way they would have access to this kind of information.
Bingo. So we can go ahead and have pictures of this taken that day, put out there on the bathroom wall, like someone says in the chat. Well, either way, spread out there for everyone to go ahead and see as soon as it comes out. But the truth of the matter is, we can't release any information or any pictures about UFOs.
Right. But I have a quick question for you. Do you see the shape of this craft? If the public saw that, do you think that they would interpret it as potentially being a UAP?
It's the same it's similar to the same shape we have of our B-2, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So it's odd enough looking where if you aren't familiar that it existed as a member of the public, you might look up and say, hey, I don't see any wings, engines. This could be a UAP.
Yeah. But
just
Mike,
by the shape.
It's not just a picture. We got a video of it as well. Let me go ahead and bring this one up here. Video with the guest. Let's bring this one up. And there's the video of the fighter flying in the skies, flying around with what's going on. Clearly, this is with a high-resolution camera. Again, we have people going ahead and sharing the latest technology coming out of the People's Liberation Army, coming out of Hong Kong. And this is clearly from a United States intelligence operation going ahead and keeping their eyes to the sky. But we can't get any clear videos of anything of the UFOs that was shot down almost 2 years ago over Alaska. What we're dealing with is an embargo and a cover-up on anything that deals with UFOs. Yet, they can go ahead and share anything with respect to what's going on in the skies, Mike, that are from the Chinese People's Liberation Army. What are your thoughts? Before we get on the mic, Mark Kyle, you have your hand up, my friend. Go ahead. Mark, you have your hand up?
Yes. Sorry, Thomas. I must have bumped it. I was putting the video in the chat.
No worries, my friend. Okay, so you don't have your hand up. Alice, go ahead, my friend.
This is from a few minutes ago. There was a video going around where a cow was missing from the stable, and it was returned through the roof.
Oh,
that makes me think it was like the alien thing.
That video is at least 2 to 3 years old, Alice, where it falls through the roof and comes down. There have been a lot of people on Twitter and other social media platforms engaged in something that we would call engagement farming, meaning they're going ahead and reposting old videos that have been around for a while to get clicks and to get people interested. But that whole cow falling through the roof of the barn, I think that's at least 3 years old, if not more.
I just saw it for the first time.
Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing it up. Kaz, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
We got you. Go ahead.
Okay, just want to make sure. I have a few things here. First of all, the cattle that you showed laying on the ground, they've been there a while. If you notice, they're totally bloated.
They're puffed. Yeah.
They've been out there 3-4 days, easy.
Yeah.
I live near the seashore, and if you ever see a whale or a shark float up and, beach himself, that's what they do.
Well, any animal puffs up after a period of time, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've done that before, actually.
You've puffed up? No, I don't think so.
Oh, sure. But anyway, again, that the plane that you showed,
yeah,
that's our design. We have pictures of that on our own carriers. So, yeah, maybe the Chinese stole it or it was sold to them.
This is
whatever.
The ones you've seen of us potentially having a next generation fighter on the deck of a aircraft carrier. That was a fake video. This one is actually real.
Right, but I've seen the real ones.
Yeah.
They look just like that, but I believe that's just a takeoff of what we have, and that's what they were able to do with it. I mean, first and foremost, everybody's got to know we have the #1 military in the world.
Yeah.
Unmistakably. So whatever they're throwing out there is second best to us.
Well,
people don't have to worry about it.
Hopefully we have the most advanced military in the world. Is all we can say.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of members of our military that complain that every time we had a conflict in the Middle East, they didn't have basic equipment like bulletproof vests or armor on the Humvees or proper supplies. So our military, for the money that we spend on it, which is more than any combination of countries around the world, we don't seem to be able to have a superiority that would make us
Hey, Mike,
impervious.
run with it for a minute. I'll be right back. Go ahead. I've got some
go right ahead.
I've got more videos of the craft coming in for landing, the craft in the air from the different perspective and from the bottom, which clearly shows there is an advanced intelligence operation going on to go ahead and bring this information out. And I'll let you continue, Mike. Go ahead.
Cool. Okay.
So what I was saying is that you have to understand that China is rapidly expanding their military growth and their power around the world globally. They have the ability to have hypersonic anti-ship missiles take out our aircraft carriers. And they are building and increasing their military and putting in more effort because they have more money and manpower, because they are getting ready for a global conflict potentially when they retake Taiwan. And they know the United States is going to intervene. So they're building up to prepare for that before it happens. I don't think it's going to be a simple slam dunk if we get into a prolonged combat issue with China. Nobody wants that.
I totally agree, Mike. And I'm 54 years old. And from the time I graduated high school, and once the towers were hit, I always said, China, everybody watch China. Nope, they're very quiet. They're not saying nothing about nothing. And they're building. And nobody said shit about nothing. I apologize for my language.
No. You're fine. It's Friday. Be my guest.
But that's how it was. I always said, watch China, watch China. Yeah. And sure enough, you're probably right. You're probably very right. But I still believe that we're one step ahead. Even if it's a small one, I hope.
Well, you know what? Any technological advantages that we have, our foreign adversaries have been working to defeat in case they end up in a combat situation with us. I'll give you an example of that. We have precision munitions. Our missiles are precision guided. But to do that, they rely on our GPS satellite coordinate system in space. Russia has been defeating our precision missiles from the Ukraine conflict by blocking the GPS signals. So they're coming up with ways to turn around and whatever type of technological or military superiority we claim to have, they are finding ways around that would level the playing field if we got into combat with them.
Right.
Which is why U.S. does not want to get into a prolonged conflict with China or Russia. I'll give you another example. These drones that have been flying over the U.S., well, guess what? Most of the drone technology that exists here and around the world uses Chinese technology to build the drones. Yeah. A lot of the key systems are manufactured from China. I'll go one better. Our military, our fighter jets, the ones that we have flying around, they use components that were manufactured in China. And there's a backdoor that our intelligence is aware of, that if we wanted to use those fighters against China in a conflict, they have the ability to technologically shut down our fighters with the technology that we're using. So it's, you know what? It's not as simple as it seems with everything that's been going on, Kaz.
Yeah, I hear you.
It never is.
The thing is, I think that, yes, you're right about the components being built in China. You're looking at all the CPUs and all that. That on our military equipment, you're correct. But I think that we're still one step up.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way. I really hope we are.
In some ways we are, but in other ways they may be a step ahead of us. You can never underestimate your enemy. We can always say we have the advantage, but don't forget they have spies everywhere. And we may think we have an advantage in one area. They have an advantage in the other. But thank you, Kaz. We have two more people with their hands up.
I don't want to get into politics.
Oh, that's okay. If we could, I need to go ahead and call on
Thank you, Kaz.
Yes.
We appreciate
I need
the
to call
comment.
on Syrup and Greg O'Brien, and I've got a video. We've got another audio clip coming from a JetBlue pilot who claims to have who was dealing with UAP in the sky, similar to what we heard about a week and a half ago, Mike, coming from what was going on over Oregon. But before we get to it, we have Syrup. You have your hand up. Go ahead, and then Greg.
I was just going to jump into the conversation. You know what? I'll wait till after the show, man.
Thank you.
I know Mike's going to stick around.
Yeah.
It's Friday, so I'll wait till after the show. It was a good conversation.
Absolutely. And everyone who's in the back, we can have a more in-depth conversation after we're off the air. Before we get to it, Greg O'Brien, go ahead, my friend.
Hey, Thomas, man. Good evening. Listen, so I'm totally agree with what everybody's saying, especially Mike. I believe what they're calling is espionage. Why wouldn't they plant? You know, if the Chinese were making these drones, selling them, why wouldn't they plant some kind of spy device in there? And then also, I believe they're everybody's at a stalemate. I mean, our American economy, believe it or not, whether you want to, is based on wartime. If there was no war, then there'd be no stock market. There'd be no merit. I mean, it's all based on war, unfortunately, and that's just the people we need to get rid of. And I just think we need to find the truth behind it all.
What you're talking about is feeding the military-industrial complex, which is something that Ike Eisenhower warned us about as he was leaving office back in the 50s, right?
Long time ago. Yeah, of course it's been warned to us. And I just think it's been, I think the warning was way too late. I mean, as soon as you rectify something or know something's afoot, it's way too late at that point.
Yeah,
I believe. So
have you tried out the new pizza oven yet?
Oh, dude, the dough's in the fridge.
Yeah.
And we're doing it tomorrow,
It takes
man.
24 hours. That's the thing that sucks about making homemade pizza is the amount of time it takes to cure the dough.
I'm so excited, man. Thanks for asking, man.
Oh, and look up Dough, DOEJO. They have a .com, Dojo. They have an unbelievable great recipe for New York-style pizza crust.
We're counting on it, man. I can't wait. I wish you were here, man. Thanks for your time.
Absolutely. All right. Now, Greg, I think you may enjoy this one. I've got an audio clip. Thank you. I've got an audio clip coming to us. That's for our refrigerator, Luke. It says change out the filters on the dish, on the water filter for the refrigerator and ice maker every 6 months. Apparently, it's been about 12 years. Whoops.
We're all in trouble.
Oh, I'm in trouble now, but I just ordered 3. They just arrived. On that note, let me go ahead. I'd be interested for your commentary on this. We're going to play a clip now when you're here live of a JetBlue pilot who's dealing with UFOs, and I want to understand if you think this is real or not. Here we go.
Well, you're going to think I'm crazy. There's something that just went from right to left to right in a blink and then flashes lights 3-4 times and vanished.
Okay, well, I had an airplane cross from right to left, E-175, and now there's another one, 777 up there high off the right side that's descending to 28. That might be those two aircraft, I'm not sure.
Just really quick, the video you're seeing doesn't go along with the audio. It's kind of like, does the curtain match the drapes? Yeah, it kind of does, but it's from two different houses. So let's just play this so you understand. This is not what we're looking at. This is actually a view of someone else. It wasn't a person on the plane who was recording it, but just listen to this. Here we go.
This thing went 180 degrees in like a second.
Oh, goodness. All right.
Let me get back to this
They're
again.
high off the right side that's descending to 28. That might be those two aircraft, I'm not sure.
This thing went 180 degrees in like a second.
So it went 180 degrees, going the opposite direction in a second. So what we're seeing is not the type of craft or behavior that would be indicative of good old humans.
Well, that goes back to the warp bubble, right, Thomas? Like if you're protected by some kind of like bubble around the craft to where it protects the human inside, or who knows, there might not be a human inside. It can be controlled from a human across the other side of the globe.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a
Granted, we've seen UFOs come down like this and come right in front of a UFO in front of a jet fighter in a nice graceful move. But like we've seen from the Tic Tacs and heard from others, is these things can make quick random movements, because it was about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, we heard about what was going on over Oregon, where they were in front of the plane. They're shooting out to the ocean, coming back, going from 30,000 feet up to 50,000 feet in speeds that the pilot explained as unexplainable. So let me continue on.
You know what it reminds me of real quick, Thomas?
Yeah.
Like a cat chasing a laser against the wall, almost.
Meaning the laser can move around like that because you're moving it, and the cat would be the plane, the laser would be the non-human intelligence, right?
Against three-dimensional space. Yes, sir.
And what I like about these is what we're hearing from our commercial pilots aligns over many sightings that our pilots are seeing. And I'll believe this stuff is an escalation going of the non-human intelligence more than some of the stuff we've been seeing on the East Coast with the drones, because now we've got an interaction going between the non-human intelligence and non-military assets. For me, I'll believe that more, I hate to say it, from some military points of view. While you want to take anything you're hearing from military and getting it there, now we're not dealing with anybody who has a limitation or restriction based on their belief, and I hate to say the word national security. This gives us the clear, unedited dialogue of an actual average person who happens to be, Mike, a pilot, and they're seeing this stuff. So can you understand why I take some of this dialogue? You know, this is like we had the last one 2 weeks ago. We've got another one. I'm willing to roll the dice in Dungeons and Dragons, roll versus save, and go ahead and say yes. We'll hear another one of these within 2 weeks. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Plus, listen, these civilian commercial air pilots are trained observers.
Yeah.
They're not bound by military classification. And what he's describing with this 180-degree instantaneous reversal, this object was obviously going in one direction and instantly reversed course in less than a second and went the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Nothing we have can do that. Period.
Oh, hell no. Not even close.
Right.
That's the wonderful thing about it. So let me go ahead and play a little bit more on this one. Hopefully, the audience is enjoying this one, I think. Let's go ahead and play the rest of it. Actually, I'll play it from the beginning, and I won't interrupt anymore. I promise.
Well, you're going to think I'm crazy. There's something that just went from right to left to right in a blink and then flashes lights 3-4 times and vanished.
Okay, well, I had an airplane cross from right to left, E-175, and now there's another one, 777 up there high off the right side that's descending to 28. That might be those two aircraft, I'm not sure.
Okay, that's air traffic control. Just want to make that clear. They should have made the colors. And anyway, let me continue. Air traffic control trying to say it's other planes in the area. When you listen, the person who sounds like they have an Australian, New Zealand, or English accent, there's that kind of UK in them, but that's the pilot.
This thing went 180 degrees in like a second.
Hold on. Susan Ford, is that UK or is that Australia?
That's Australian.
Okay, so we've got an Australian pilot. Let's take that. Does that make sense? All right, here we go.
Degrees in like a second.
Oh, goodness. All right. Yeah, let me know if you see it again. We'll make a report.
Well, the details, it literally went from one coast to...
So the person said begrudgingly, we'll make a report.
With a slight laugh at the end of that.
But then the pilot wants to bring out the truth. And he starts giving the details for the person to go ahead and make that report. And the pilot's expecting the ATC person to take these details down.
I'll take it seriously.
Yeah. Sorry, I am pausing this, but it's good to go ahead. And it's like reading a contract. You have to listen to every phrase differently so we can help with the interpretation. All right.
Exactly.
Some people are saying, give that dog a biscuit. Well, apparently my Amazon package was good enough because it already started digging a hole in that because she wants, or Moose wants, another cookie. So let's play more. Actually, we've got TVT. Hold on for right now until we get to the end of this. Here we go.
To the other, in front of us, and then it went up like 30 degrees, turned off its lights, or whatever it had. It looked like it's a bright orangey thing, and then since we spoke to you last, it flashed us like 3-4 times, and we are still looking at it now.
It flashed us or slashed us?
Flashed us 3 times, signaling.
So it was moving around, doing us different things, and then disappeared, and then came back and flashed 3 times.
Yeah, that's a form of communication, Thomas.
Was it 3 equal flashes, or was it a longer flash? That's what I'd love to know. Let's play more.
I would like to know, too.
Oh, heck yeah.
So where is it roughly if I was to give you a traffic call?
I would say probably 60, 80 miles in front of us, and it looks like it's coming, I don't know, it's flashing towards us. But it is definitely not an airplane. It doesn't have the strobe lights or anything on it. It's just this bright orange going on and off. Yep, this definitely wasn't an airplane.
Definitely wasn't an airplane.
They're taking it seriously, and they want ATC to do the same.
2 weeks to a month at most, we'll have another one. Period. Let's start tracking these
pretty often
and seeing when it's happening. We have to go back and look for the date for Oregon. I've got the video. I downloaded it here. I can go ahead and easily find the date from that. Go ahead and find that. Find when we have this one. See what the time frame is. Let's double it. We should have something within that time frame. And it's either going to go up or it's going to go down. And the only thing that's going to go ahead and drive is going to be the stats.
Yeah. Statistical information is valuable.
See, it pays to actually watch the end of the show because apparently I've got some good stuff in my bookmarks that that's one thing bookmarks are missing, Mike, is the ability to go ahead and take the information and rank it.
Yeah. Well, maybe the next update they'll correct that.
Oh, wait, you mean tomorrow?
No. Probably not.
Oh, Mike. Where's that at? Yes, that's why sometimes we do have our show on Saturday nights. Well, we do have a lot of friends in the United Kingdom staying up to 4 o'clock in the morning to watch this tomorrow's show at 2 p.m. Pacific or 10 p.m. London time. We might go earlier depending on how things are feeling. It's going to be a recap show, a live show for our friends in the United Kingdom because you know why? They deserve it. They're a good percentage of our audience. I think London is the number 2 city to go ahead and actually be for watching Disclosure tonight. So, you know what? We love our friends in the UK and in Europe and around the world for that matter. So it's your earlier show to go ahead and make your life easier. But it's more stressful for me, but I would say It's even more stressful for Corporal Abe, Mike, but we lost him. I didn't realize that. Did we lose Mike too? All right, my friends, I think it's that time of the night. Let me go ahead and find myself at the desk. Let me go ahead. Oops. That's Google Home. No, we don't need unlicensed music playing tonight. Thank you. On that note, let me go ahead and find it. Where's it at? All right, everybody. I want to thank everyone for your wonderful support of Disclosure tonight. We try to go ahead and have a fun time getting through all of this. More importantly, I want to thank our friends who have given us super chats because, you know, this is the only way we, besides some advertising, this is the only way we get funding on this show. And I am so humbled and thankful for everyone's love and support of what we do here in Disclosure tonight. And coming out of that, I want to thank Mr. Catfish 2100 with the last super chat. Brian Pemble. The swamp is getting smaller in D.C. Keep pointing them out and let the rats run. There are rat hunters coming in. Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. Very truthful. I want to thank Wildcat Mahone, Mr. Catfish 2100, Yerp, Giant Arc Sephora, and Freezerman 71. Oh, look at that. That's out of place. Fix that. There we go. All right. Who else I want to go ahead and thank? Well, you know what? It's up to me to go ahead and thank all the viewers from tonight's show. And do I still have them here somewhere? Oh, God. Yeah, I do. Somehow I close that window. Let's bring out this and pop out chat. Let me go ahead and bring this up. Where am I looking at? I want to look at all the participants. Holy cow, I want to thank for our viewers in the chat tonight who have been hanging out for us this evening. And that includes Anjoanne, 4TP. Let me change it. Oh, Mocha. It's loud for me too, folks. I want to thank 4TP, Alex Lewis, Amiga Rules, Andy W., all the way from Bristol, United Kingdom. I want to thank Angel Flight 76, Anton Go, Splits Necro. We had Brian Pemble, one of our constant continual contributors here on Disclosure tonight. I want to thank Christopher, Cindy, Crossroads Info. Oh, interesting. Dan Larev, Digger Dog, Donna Fitzpatrick, Dragon Rider FVP. Ernie's been here along with Evan B. Ian Taint. Firefly's been here along with Ghost Fixer. You got me, Ian. Where am I at? Griff. Heiser's been here. Jason Brown, Joe Monk, Joey Stoner, John Smith. We had Johnny UFO. Juliana Reverberal's been here along with Kathy. Miami Man's here. Thank you for all coming out. We had Michaela McCurry, Moon Pie, Mr. M Spin. We have MRC, Ms. Medieval 66. We had Parasolo, Philip Shepard. Raul's been around along with Rainstorm Hunter. We had Ray's Renan. Renier Costa. We had Rainier Roland Gibbs. Rolled losing dice. Yes, remember, gambling is never a winner's game. Ask my ex-wife Maria. $1 million. Yeah. Gambled away. How about that? Just love those slots. You're such a winner. I want to thank Sam Wallace, Solaris 142, Sprightly Sprites, Gemstone Crystal Mineral Magic has been here along with Stacy Cole, Stephen Forbes. Toxic Revenger has been in the chat all night. UFOs Not Drones, Vic Vancouver. Where's Waldo? We had Will Underwood has been here along with Yankee 58 and Dead Fish Cheese Spread. I made it through the list. Holy cow. I want to thank everybody for coming out, for having a good time. If you're still watching, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, but love one or the other. It just helps us help you and helps YouTube go ahead and share this with more people. On that note, I also want to thank our friends who have been in the back today. Who am I talking about? Alice W. Thank you for coming out, my dear lady.
Hey, Thomas. Thank you. Hey, I hope you don't mind some of my questions are a little mundane, but I don't know as much. You guys are really,
Never.
Very intelligent and...
Don't worry about it. This is a show for everybody. Whether you know a lot or you don't know a lot, I've seen some people who would be on Santa's naughty list. I do have a copy of everything everybody says, so don't be naughty. Be nice. But no, honestly, Alice, you've said a lot of good things. You've asked pertinent questions, and I appreciate you coming in the back and being a voice.
Oh, thank you, Thomas.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
If I give you a big hug right now, I would. Thank you.
Aw. How nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Andy W. Yeah, absolutely. Andy W.
Yep. Cheers, Thomas. I'm glad it's the earlier show tomorrow night because it's now gone 4 a.m. and yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming in. Brian Pemble, unexpected. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. It's always wonderful having you here.
Oh, absolutely great to be here. And I'm glad Alice is here and everybody else has chipped in. There was a question from the back. How do you get in the back chat? Just look to the top of the YouTube screen, click on the link, and come on in. And we would love to have you.
Yeah. Hey, hate to say it, guys. Almost our audience of people who watch Disclosure tonight, almost 25% at this point, Brian. And I'm happy about that because it was like 12% a long time ago, and it's great to have a conversation that everybody can participate in.
Well, Thomas, you've done a great job, and we all appreciate it. Those that have been here
Thank
for
you,
a long
sir.
time.
Well,
We're looking forward to new people.
It's disclosure for everybody, right? Including Mocha, who wants her cookie. There you go, Mocha.
That's exactly right. That's what we're here for.
Exactly. Let's say no. Ed, thanks for coming in, my friend.
It's been my pleasure, Thomas, and good show tonight. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Freezerman71, appreciate your attendance and friendship, my friend.
You're very welcome, Thomas. Great show as always.
Absolutely. Thank you. Greg O'Brien, your voice is always appreciated. Thank you for coming out.
Thomas, enjoy your evening, and don't forget to pee before bed, man.
That's never a problem. Also want to thank Kaz. Appreciate your persistence and good questions,
thank
honestly.
You guys.
Yeah. All right.
Laura, this is an amazing show. I love it.
Thank you very much, sir, and I appreciate you being a part of it, really.
Glad to be here.
Yeah,
Glad
absolutely. Laura, we haven't gotten an update from you, and I feel I'm at a loss.
I've been taking a break. I'm going to start when the new year starts. We just need to get through it and then get a fresh start. And I've been feeling groggy myself. I don't know, the last couple of days. Notice how the coverage on the drones has declined in the last few days, too. People are sick of it already, and people's attention spans are short.
It's here and it's gone, but we have a great audience who's here to be a part of it. I'm glad you're part of this. Yeah, but there's something I felt today that was just really pulling on me that I haven't felt in a while.
Yep.
Not so bad yesterday, but today was big. Let's talk about it after the show.
Yep, sounds right. Okay.
Thank you. Also, Mark Kyle. Thank you for coming in. If not, Michael Sokoloff, appreciate your comments from Canada.
Anytime, Thomas, and I just got a message for Kaz. If you want to get into the after show, just stick around. Don't leave. Just stick around, and you will be in the back show.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Follow the link. It has benefits after the show. Also want to go ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Cass. I appreciate it. I was just about to call on you, but thank you for making it easier for me. Also want to thank, let's see, who else is there? Mohammed. Mo, thanks for the questions. I appreciate the participation.
Hey, this is like actually so much against my beliefs, but it's actually enriching me. Tonight, I will sleep less stupid. Yeah, I'm so much rich, and I have explored so many different perspectives.
Yeah,
that I'm rich tonight.
There's a lot of stories that go back in time, going back to Zoroastrianism, before that, even at the time of what went on. Oh God, well, thousands of years before that, and it's just
the cradles of civilization.
Yes, the cradle of civilization. But it's almost like when some of this stuff took place, it's almost like civilization came back out of the ground, and that's where a lot of stuff came from. We'll figure it out another time, but it's all tied together into where cycles of what humanity goes through, to addition to what we're seeing in our skies above us, and just trying to understand it for what it is versus letting doctrine from 2,000, 4,000 years ago try to tell us what it is when we know so much more.
I just love you as a human being, Thomas.
Thank you, sir.
I'm
I appreciate
just a human being like you. We're all equals. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Susan Ford, thank you for coming out.
Wouldn't miss it. You know that, Thomas.
Yeah.
I hope you're feeling better. You feeling a bit better?
Yeah, absolutely. The Red Bulls really help. Oh, call it Granny's rheumatism medicine for anybody who's watched Beverly Hillbillies. You know what I'm talking about. Right, Brian? I guess not. On that note, what a great evening. What a great time to have.
I've watched it, Thomas. You're right.
Exactly, my friend. Well, thank you for all coming out tonight. It's one of those days where we say see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. GMT for another episode of Disclosure Tonight. Don't need to play that. As we usually say at the end of every show, eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone, bud.
Go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely. Good night, everybody. Love you. Y'all come back now. Here. Thank you again.